And Steve, thank you for taking the time, especially during your last weeks in your role as president of the Federation.
Nothing else
Not that you
to
had a choice.
She's doing everything now.
But in all seriousness, I've had a chance in my previous role as chair of allocations, and certainly in my current role as campaign chair, to learn so much from you. And I'm excited that everyone here this evening will get a chance to learn a lot from Steve and hear a lot of Steve's thoughts about our community as he transitions into the next stage of his career. So with that being said, this is my first year as campaign chair, and this is your last campaign as our Federation president. What words of wisdom do you have for our community as you depart?
Keep giving.
I didn't make him say that.
You know, the words of wisdom are, we're a remarkable community, as I think people will realize once again when you finish up tonight. We're remarkable because of the people sitting in this room, Jeff, and the people who are standing behind them. We were calling people today at the last minute, like we always do, and chasing some people down, but most of the people that we spoke to said, I've been waiting for your call. I don't know too many charities where people are waiting for their call. I had that experience calling quite a few people who I only talk to once a year, and they say, I look forward to your call. And me, I'm kind of worried when I call them, but they're happy to call. And that just demonstrates what a remarkable community we are. And as I said to our staff earlier today, the money's important, but beyond the money, what really matters is what we do with it. Because we're a caring community. We make a difference in people's lives here in Cleveland, in some other parts of the United States, and overseas. And without us, there'd be a lot of people in this world, Jewish and members of our larger community, whose lives would be much worse off.
So over your many years of service, I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes in our community, especially as it relates to the campaign. But what have you seen that stayed consistent year after year when you look at our campaign?
The most consistent thing has been the very strong partnership between our staff and the volunteer leadership of the campaign. We have never failed to have volunteers step up and take your role and to populate the other leadership roles in the campaign. A lot of places in the United States don't have that luxury. We've enjoyed it. We have remarkable volunteer leaders who are really committed. Now the roles have evolved a little bit. There's more solicitation by the staff today than there was when I took over in 1983. More solicited because the nature of fundraising has changed. But we could never be the kind of success we are without the leadership examples of giving and working that our volunteers provide.
Thanks, Steve. You know, you like to say that the work of the Federation is something that no one individual or organization can do by themselves. How has that collaboration with our local, our national, and overseas partners, how has that ushered in some of the social change that you've witnessed?
Well, gosh, there's so many examples of the collaboration. Maybe the one of the most profound that we had at the local level was the work we did with the congregations in our schools with the Commission on Jewish Continuity, which we began back in 1984. We literally changed the relationship between the synagogues and the Federation and our Jewish education system. And that collaboration with what was then the JCC in the Youth Retreat Center and the JECC, which was then the Bureau, was just, it's an amazing transformation that put us way ahead of other communities in making Jewish education a priority and the kind of work that we're going to do. That's at the local level. At the international level, our collaboration with the Jewish Agency and the JTC and our work through Partnership 2000, now Partnership together has been profound. Cleveland led the way by collaborating in changing the course of education for Ethiopian preschoolers. We affected tens of thousands of kids who could have flunked kindergarten the way their predecessors had by the work we did on the Parents and Children Together program. We did it again with our Youth Futures program. We changed the course of Jewish history, I believe, in St. Petersburg, Russia, by the work we've been doing back and forth, collaborating with brilliant staff in St. Petersburg who needed colleagues, and we provided the colleagues and the volunteer examples. And we're doing it again today in STEM education, in Beit Shan, in a Haredi community. We're going to do it in Jerusalem and in one of the Bedouin communities in the Negev. We make a difference. We have made a difference through this collaboration. And the best part is a lot of people follow our example.
All great examples, but as you look now, as you're leaving this role and you're heading into the next stage in your career, what excites you most about Jewish Cleveland, about our future?
What the Milgram family's doing, you know. I mean, we have one great one after another, and they're just symbols of the young people we have in this community. And our young leadership division is strong. It's growing. The enthusiasm is palpable. And I used to say to my colleagues that we had top leadership, meaning by title, board chairs, campaign chairs. We have a pool of people that I was always pretty much able to see who was going to emerge over, say, 15 years. And I thought, if you know who the leaders are going to be, you don't know exactly who, when, but if you could see the pool over 15 years, I thought, that's not bad. And since I'm 35 in the years, I had to go through it a few times. And I can see it again. Who's going to be leading us over the next 15 years. The next 10 after that are Erica's challenge. But the exciting thing is I see where the future is going to come from. We have people who get it. They understand Jewish values. They understand Jewish peoplehood. They understand the way you can make a difference in the world and be caring about Greater Cleveland and the Jewish community of Cleveland and the Jewish people around the world. They get it. They understand Kol Yisrael, Arivim Zeh B'Zeh, and that's the best thing you can have for the future.
So my last question for you, Steve, is the theme of this year's campaign is the impact of Together. We've been asking people throughout the year, what does the impact of Together mean to you personally?
I was having a discussion with one of my colleagues in the staff the other day, who was telling me about a conversation he had with another young person who didn't seem to have an appreciation for a Jewish community pulling together, but thought maybe the Jewish world could be a good world if people just pursued their individual interests. Obviously, I don't believe that is an effective formula for a successful Jewish people. And I believe the lessons we learned from the Second World War and the founding of the state and all the good things that we've accomplished since has been what we do together. As Chuck and I have talked about over time, and Chuck talks about this when he's discussing the subject, there are very few people in the world who could change Jewish life alone, if any. But together, we changed Jewish life. No one person could have broken the Jews out of the Soviet Union. We had to do it together. The state could not be founded by one philanthropist providing whatever had to be done. We had to do it together. And our future identity is going to be because we work together as a community to educate our children, to encourage them to provide the support we need for our elderly, et cetera. And we're now worrying about what's going to be with a growing Alzheimer's population, and through collaboration and together with our agencies crossing the lines, and they're working beautifully together, we're going to be of better help. We're going to do things as a community. And I believe deep in my bones, always have, that the power of the community, the power of the collective, is essential to the future thriving of the Jewish people.
Thanks, Steve. I know I speak on behalf. I know I speak on behalf of everyone here and really throughout Jewish Cleveland and beyond that, really through the Jewish world, when I thank you for all that you've done, for all of us, for all of world Jewry. You have made such a difference, and your impact will be felt for many, many years to come. So thanks for all that you have done, Steve.